that type of thing. So she was very interesting as well. And I think just the kids being in the atmosphere of other kids being excited about writing and its possibilities, I think was a real plus for our students. So it was 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. A lot from Traverse City.
Yeah, there were many Traverse City kids there. Bel Air, I recognized they had a group of kids there too. We took 12.
I was going to ask you how many had the opportunity.
12, 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. So
That's really
tried to
nice.
get some of the 5th graders to come, but it's dance stuff.
There's
so
a lot of stuff.
pictures and rehearsal going on. So
Right.
the kids also chose an afternoon session, so they really got to choose 2 sessions. So one for the morning, and then there were 3 choices in the afternoon. So they either got to go to Spooky and Scary, Let's Write Mysteries, or The Power of Art. There was also a poetry one, but they all chose the other 2 for the afternoon.
So I guess with that, I'll kind of hand it over to our 2 girls who I promise will be very short and sweet. So.
Just like that, right?
Yes, right. That's right.
Take as much time as you want, because otherwise we have to listen to this girl.
I'd much rather listen to you.
So maybe we'll start with Olivia. Maybe, Olivia, if you can tell them just maybe what your favorite part of the day was, what you really, really liked about going.
I like the spooky and scary writing mysteries class.
Okay. And what was it that they had you do for that?
Well, they taught, the author came in about mysteries, and she talked about how you can, when you're writing mysteries, you should write the beginning and then think about the end so that you have it all planned out, and then write the middle and at the end.
Yeah. And then you have a poem that you wrote that she's going to share as well.
And this was from your morning session, right, Olivia? Which was imagining animals through poetry. Was one of the ones that she chose for me.
Frog, how fast can you swim? You eat bugs and insects. You use your tongue to catch flies and other bugs. You make croaking noises by puffing up your chest. You are green and have spots for camouflage. You are an amphibian, which means you live on land and off land.
Excellent. Very nice.
And I think too, exactly. I think too what's real fun for kids with poetry is when they discover that poetry doesn't have to rhyme. And you can break the rules when you write poetry, and that's always very fun. So.
Emma also went to, in the morning, a different poetry session. It was poetry without a pencil. And that was breaking some major rules, wasn't it?
Yeah. What did you get to do that was kind of like,
We got to rip pages out of books, and then we circled words and made our own poem.
oh, yeah, that was pretty fun.
That sounds like a really nice project.
Mm-hmm. It was. Would you want to share with them the one where you circled the words, the possum one?
A possum in the house. He's hiding in the pantry. Help, screamed Dad. Crunch went the cornflakes. Screech went the possum. He ran into the kitchen.
Some of our other students went to a session on writing for movies. I got a list here. So, writing for movies. We had some students go to Fun for Fantasy Writing. And that was one I sat in with them. And again, they talked about the leader, facilitator talked about, what it takes, what makes a fantasy, and then got them doing an activity to do a little pre-writing. And then there was one on exciting writing. So overall, the kids had a great time. And I think learned a lot and were really excited to go. And, can we go again? So.
Well, thank you, and thank you for providing that opportunity for them. We really appreciate it
Glad you-
when we hear about things like that going on.
Well, we were really happy to have the support of the school, and I said to Shelley, can we go? Yeah, put it in your box.
Yeah.
So, it was great.
Okay, we're gonna back up one, Lisa.
Sorry.
I
I was talking to a custodian in the other building.
Yeah, do you have the target? You were talking.
I also requested that I arrive late for my funeral too, so.
She is consistent.
Yeah,
It's landed.
loud and late, so, you know. I had applied for the Three Lakes Association's grant based on an email that had been forwarded to me from Shelley, and I believe it was through Scholastic, if I think about going back to it. It was science night for parents and kids, and so that was kind of our initial intent. And I had talked to Bridget McAvoy, and she was really excited about doing it also. So I filled out their application for their grant based on materials that we would need to provide that night. And a lot of the things we already had, but if we wanted to have, say 2 sessions of something going on so that more kids could participate in one activity, that was kind of the draw there. There would be 10 stations set up in the gym, kind of like our movie night that we had. Would be an invite to parents and to students to come in and take part, not really a science fair per se, like they were doing their own project, but coming in and participating in what we already had provided for them to take a look at. And it's hands-on science stuff that it happens in everyday life, and so that was, we came up with a budget of about $300 worth of items that we would need, ladles and, I don't know, glue sticks, and just things like that that we would need for each individual setting, and they approved it. So we are looking at a date in, we're not really sure, we're kind of thinking winter time, maybe January, February, to break up the winter, where we have a science night where kids and parents come in and participate in these science activities in the gym. So,
That sounds exciting.
yeah, I'm excited about it.
Yeah, and congratulations for doing it and getting it.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, science is kind of my love, so that was, I was excited about that. And with that, since I was coming in, I asked if I could mention that we have 4 NHS kids and 1 aspiring NHS student. They are going to be in Petoskey tomorrow, helping with Taylor School's job fair. And if you're not familiar with Taylor Schools, it is, help me with this to explain it correctly, it is a school for handicapped students. And, yeah, and so they can go till they're 26, 26 years of age, and we've had students from here going, and currently I think do have students going there. And it's at the Charlevoix-Emmett County Fairgrounds, Petoskey, and what they do is they basically go through different stations where they are participating in performing a job. Maybe it's bagging groceries, or maybe whatever the job is, and our students are going there to help greet, help with lunch, and judge how they do at their stations, and those count as volunteer hours. And I know we have a few kids trying to achieve the 400 hours of community service to get the Michigan Student Service Award. They have 4 years to get those 400 hours in 9th through 12th grade, and to be recognized at graduation for that. So some of those kids are using those hours as part of their service hours. So,
That's very good.
so hopefully maybe in June or something they can come and share what it was like to be there. So, matter of fact, I had some kids email or text me today, hey, is there still an opportunity to go do that? I want to do that. I'm like, hey, no, you had to fill out the application like a month ago. So now they're kind of like, oh, I missed out on an opportunity. So maybe we'll even have more kids next year that want to participate in that.
Good. Thank you. Mr. Johnson, would you like to give us an update on the?
Sure. I'll give you some things.
Girls did a nice job. Very nice job.
There's a lot of, for me anyway, a lot of exciting things happened since the last time I came. I don't know if you're president.
You don't see my hat?
Looking at that marquee that I talked about last time, somebody had alerted me to Lansing Public Schools that have a marquee located at the corner of the road that, or the highway that goes to Lansing. and goes on through to Pelston. After looking at that, both nighttime and daylight, I think that we're gonna be okay with what I'd like to do anyway, or I guess I should say have done. The marquee is gonna be shipped this Friday. It's LED display, it's much better than what I had looked at before. There's a whole bunch of things we can do with it, all the way from a flash picture on the marquee to 4 lines of text, and it just is a really nice one, and besides that, it's about $4,000 less than the original sign that we're looking at. So talking with Ben about some things, we want to place it where the current marquee is, but it would be about where the end of this marquee sets, facing the intersection. And the traffic patterns are good because most of our information going out to the public is going to be from people coming from downtown to the school and turning, and it will be right directly in their sight. Good sight coming from the north across and coming into town, it's also visible. The only detriment would be coming from Howard Street in the northerly directions, but most of those people are going to be looking at traffic anyway, and they aren't really concerned. I think as time passes and people are aware, it's just like the clock down at the bank. For a while, nobody paid any attention to it, and all of a sudden, everybody was upset because the clock wasn't working downtown. And I think that will happen with this marquee also. So going through this, there's the rendition that they printed did not come out real well, but I have some copies. I'll let you just kind of maybe share that, but I don't have enough for everyone. This is kind of what it's going to look like, except for, I'll explain when I get these out.
We'd love to get
Changes.
We can share.
Anybody, I don't know that's true. Looking at it, for one thing, I've already talked to Western Concrete. They have the brick available that will match our gymnasium. It's called old school red brick. This is not red, obviously, that you see in this picture. They couldn't match the ink colors to it. Also, the towers on the side will be lower. The cap on that will be limestone caps on the tower, on the 2 towers, and they will be, the top of the tower will be at the point of the sign that where it starts its vertical ascent right there. So it doesn't look like it's restricting the sign so much. The top is fluorescent tubing. It will have we can put a photo cell on that if we want, if people complain about it being lit up at night, but I don't think it'll be any worse than what we already have. And then, of course, the bottom part is the LED. All the specs are there if anyone's interested. I also have all specs in that folder from that includes in the sign. So hopefully that's going to be to the satisfaction of everybody. Understand, not one penny will come from the school. Nothing from the taxpayers. It's completely covered with some donations that we've gotten, and I'm telling you, some of these surrounding schools have been just unbelievable. And their support for the contact that Maris had, I don't know how the little bugger did all that, but anyway, it's sure come to our benefit. Anyways, starting from the top down on this list, the sign will be shipped on the 16th, 2 to 6 days. Being that it will be shipped on Friday, I would be very surprised that they'll transport in the weekend, so it's probably going to be somewhere in the middle of that next week. Ethernet connection, Steve and I have already gone through some of the tile work up above, and that's not going to be a problem. If we have to, we'll go all the way back to Mr. Ennis's main closet area. There's 300 feet of free cable that comes with it, but that's the extent without a connection, and so Steve has assured me that he will have a connection within that 300 feet. Electrical service, 2 lines are required. I've talked to 2 different electricians. They're just baffled at why you would need that kind of electrical service, but it's probably to cover warranty on the sign. So we've have 1 connection's already out there, and then the other will just tap into the gymnasium, and that's going to be a pretty simple project. I'll do that with the electricians. Location I've talked about. I had we'll get together with Ben and we'll do that facade and set up and see which direction is exactly what we want. The current marquee and Brickwork foundation's all gonna have to be taken out of there, and with the board approval, I'll do that. I don't know if, did you happen to check any further about maybe eBay selling or
I
whatever?
think we can probably recycle the existing sign. I think there's a market for it, so. We've had luck with Craigslist, so we can try that again.
I talked with some of the people that were on that committee when that was put, doesn't seem like it, it's been about 18 years ago, that sign went in. And to the best recollection of everyone, they think that that sign was probably somewhere around $3,500 when it was not new. So what it's worth, I guess is just what someone's willing
It's
to
in
pay.
good shape.
I spoke to Bill Wilson about the brickwork and foundation, and he just, all the contractors, which is good for our community, the contractors are just absolutely swamped right now. And obviously building activity is really on the upswing. He can get at it at not before June, he said probably the middle of June, which is okay. I would like to have had that before graduation, but that's not gonna happen. And I'll work with him, unless he said, go ahead if you can find somebody that could do it sooner, it was okay with him, but he's a taxpayer, he's in the community and has kids in school, so I just assume try to use him if we can. And then the control of the sign, speaking with a representative, apparently this is pretty easy to operate. It's in the office, Cindy probably will have control of it. You just simply put on your computer screen with a program what it is that you want on it. You can program it out for as long as you want. You can program it out for a year if you want to. Messages can be on there for only a week. They can be on there for a month, whatever time you want. And so the color is, I see the signs that they put out and they're really good. So I guess that's it. I don't know, there's more of an update. Oh, and the paperwork I gave to the board president is the approval from the village, which I have to have now for signs. It does exceed the size of signs that they allow, but they already approved a variance for it, so not a problem. Any questions?
Yeah, Gary, how high is that off the ground, the brick to sign?
The peak of the sign, right above the Trojan head, is going to be about, well, if you look down at the bottom, right where your thumb is, the idea is the top panel, and that's 3'7" to the very top of the peak. That's just the panel itself, and then the sign itself is 2'7", so that ends up 7'4" from the bottom of the sign to the top. And there won't be as much brickwork underneath the sign as what you're looking at here. I think that's just too high, too much brick, and we were looking at maybe a foot of brick underneath, and then there has to be a minimum of a 4-inch air vent gap under the sign. Another reason why I want to wait is because they very specifically suggest that you do not put up your towers until the sign is here for correct measurements. I've done this before, and I know I can do it, but we'll just wait and make sure it's done right. The towers will be 16 inches square. That will be, here you're looking at 2.5 brick. So let's take the half brick out, and that's the width of the towers.
So with the sign placement, I know, and hopefully we don't have a winter like this again for a long time, but there's so much darn snow we couldn't hardly see it. So with this placement now, it would be a little more, hopefully a little more visible for the snow blowers don't get in the way, or.
It'll be back more toward the gymnasium wall too, so it'll be a little bit better protected, and then we'll just have to maybe ask Vern not to blow snow up in that area.
Yeah.
I had a question, I don't know who it's for, and I know I missed some fall meetings. We had some discussion about putting it out by the football field for more visibility, but is the issue there the Ethernet connection?
The issue there becomes quite a bit of cost with a wireless controlled system, and then you have to have an antenna and receiver on either end. You have to have one here that you're broadcasting wirelessly down there, and then ultimately, even though you see it on the screen, you probably need to verify that it actually took and loaded, and a lot of headaches, especially with the additional costs. I think we kind of ruled that out, although we had talked about it. And that was, I think, kind of where you started your discussion tonight with that Alanson model, which was more central to the village. So that is something we talked about, but I think, I know from the folks I talked to, and I think you were hearing the same thing, Gary, the wired connections are foolproof. The wireless create issues, whether it's, transmittal issues, whether it's, branches moving and it interrupts the signal. There just seem to be more issues, especially with the increased cost than they were worth.
What about taking the old sign and putting it out by the football?
Now that is an option.
That's a good idea.
That
So
would be
that
an
we
option.
have some school
Right.
label there,
Right.
instead of the Craigslist.
Or
Or Job for you.
we own that part, we can do that.
Yeah.
That would-
So long as it were on the tennis court side of of the main entrance there, this side, within a very few feet, is church property, but on the other side, sure.
Addressing that wireless issue, the weather is the biggest culprit of the wireless. No matter how and we talked about that, and no matter how secure those antennas are when they're put up, the weather affects them. Just humidity alone is a factor. But if a windstorm comes along and moves those antennas at all, then you've got to readjust them, and they really are a problem. We've had some problems with the wireless at the baseball field. This one is hardwired over here, and we've never had a problem with it. Baseball field every once in a while has some glitches and we can't get it to work. We're better with a cable if we can. If anybody wants to read through those specs, I've got them.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It was a good presentation.
You can keep going.
You want this back? Do you have one?
I've got it. I have it.
Thank you. Okay, next on our agenda is the principal update.
Shelley's got a
All right,
copy of the update in your packet.
all right. The Career Tech at Awards banquet was on April 22nd. We had several students that were honored by their teachers at that. I can go ahead and read them. Kara Becker, Mariah Cords, Emily Joseph, Haley Cook, Evan Hyde, Sam Potter, Aubrey Allen, Kayla Strait, and Connor Zook all went with their parents and attended the banquet that evening and got their awards. The health career students toured Charlevoix Hospital and explored some career options on the 30th of April. Ben and Sue and Michelle and I conducted several interviews over the last couple weeks. And we've interviewed candidates for drafting, health ocs, English, science, and art. The elementary school carnival was a huge hit. I think that was the biggest crowd I've seen in a very long, it was huge crowd, great, ton of volunteers. Thank you to everybody that's on the PTO, Brianne, Jody, Elise, Sheena, Jenny, Melanie, Becky, Tricia Fries was there, Kelly Berry and Lisa Hoogerheide also donated their time. It was just a really great night. National Honor Society students were there selling cotton candy, and they donated all of their proceeds for that to the PTO, so that was really nice. Had Rotary breakfast last Monday with Mara Berry and her parents, Quinn and Kelly, and George Thayer and his parents, George and Sara. They were our Rotary Students of the Month, and Rotary was really impressed by all of our kids this year, and always are, and it's just a really nice get-together that they do a breakfast and provide that, and then give each of the kids a $100 check and a certificate, so that's really nice. Our life leadership students, Carissa and Chris, also got to go to breakfast that morning. All of our juniors last week attended a career expo in East Jordan. That was a new thing, that was neat. You just heard about the Writers Conference from Michelle and Brenda. Post-prom and prom went off with a hit. Everything was great. The kids had a really terrific time. Lots and lots of volunteers. I am not going to read all those names, but I wanted you guys to see all the people on there that volunteered their time and assistance, both at prom and post-prom. This week, and next week, our K2 classrooms are pilot testing. They've never taken an online assessment before, and our K1 has had very little experience in the computer lab. So this is very interesting, how to use the mouse and the keyboard and some different things. It went very well on the first day today, so we'll keep that up for the rest of the next 2 weeks. 4th grade, their Mackinac trip is set for next week. That's always exciting. And then you'll see the dates for summer school on there. We're going to do our 2 sessions again, our session in June and our session in August. And that's it for me.
Shelley, I had a question about summer school and
Alrighty,
kind of self-centered, but it would help other people too.
okay.
There was a deadline for Friday to get that app in, but you'll still take it?
Oh, absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely, yep. I just talked to Pam today and we're gonna send them out for the next few weeks. I always did like a 4-week kind of reminder, so.
Because
yeah.
I'm one of those people that.
Oh, no, it's all good. Keep them coming in, so,
All right.
absolutely.
Shelley, what grades are eligible for summer school?
The first session, we do kids that are entering 1st through 6th. And then the second session, for the first time this year, Carrie's gonna take a group of our preschoolers and kind of start preparing them. So she'll take about 10 kids in that August session. So they'll be going into kindergarten. We've never done that before, so we're excited to try something different with those kiddos and get them